geeks4geeks.org. Steps in import procedure. What is the import procedure? The purchase of goods from a foreign country is referred to as import trade. The import procedure varies by country, depending on the country's import and customs policies, as well as other statutory requirements. Statutory requirements, customs policies, import and customs policies, statutory requirements. Import procedures are the procedures for import and export activities that include ensuring licensing and compliance prior to shipping goods, arranging for transport and warehousing after goods are unloaded, and obtaining customs clearance and paying taxes prior to the release of goods. The release of goods. Import procedures, right? Import, release, licensing. Steps in the import procedure. Let's tap on it and see if I think this is nutshell. 1. Trade inquiry. 2. Procurement of import license. 3. Obtaining foreign exchange. 4. Placing order or indent. 5. Obtaining a letter of credit. 5. Arrangement of finance. 6. Advice for shipment receipt. 8. Retirement of documents. 9. Goods arrival. 10. Custom clearance. So here, the important thing is procurement of import license, right? Some items are licensed. Some items are free to import. Some items are not free to import. So you need to have license for that. So let me go over these steps summarized for you. 1. Trade inquiry. 2. Procurement of import license. 3. Obtaining foreign exchange. 4. Placing order or indent. 5. Obtaining a letter of credit. 6. Arrangement of finance. 7. Advice for shipment receipt. 8. Retirement of documents. 9. Goods arrival. 10. Custom clearance. Goods arrival, right? There's plural. Goods arrival. Steps involved in import transactions. 1. Trade inquiry. The importing company should first gather information about the countries and companies that export the given product. The importer is able to collect such data from trade directories and or trade associations, as well as organizations. After identifying the countries and firms that export the product, the importing firm contacts the export firms by using a trade inquiry to learn about their export prices and terms of export. A trade inquiry is a written request from an importing firm to an exporter for information on the price and various terms and conditions under which the latter is willing to export goods. The importer will receive a quotation from the importer in response to this inquiry. The quotation includes information about the goods available, such as their quality and price, as well as the terms and conditions of the sale. 2. Procurement of import license. Certain goods can be imported freely, while others require licensing. The importer can be imported freely, right? The importer must consult the current import policy, EXIM, right? EXIM policy to determine whether the goods he or she intends to import require import licensing. If goods can only be imported with a license, the importer must obtain an import license. Every importer and exporter in India must register with the Directorate General Foreign Trade DGFT or Regional Import-Export Licensing Authority and obtain an Import-Export Code IEC number. Import-Export Code number. IEC, right? Import-Export Code. Directorate General Foreign Trade. Directorate General Foreign Trade. This number is required on the majority of import documents. I guess this article is from India, maybe. The Imports and Exports Control Act of 1947 governs the import trade in India. Without a valid import license, a person or company cannot import goods into India. The Indian government declares its import policy in the Import Trade Control Policy Book, also known as the Red Book. Every importer must first determine whether or not he can import the goods he desires, as well as how much of a particular class of goods he can import during the time period covered by the relevant Red Book. So not only you need to have a license for certain items, there could be a quota or the quantity of the goods that you desire to import. Be careful. 3. Obtaining foreign exchange. The supplier in an import transaction requests payment in a foreign currency because they are based overseas. Indian currency must be converted into foreign currency in order to make a payment in another currency. The Reserve Bank of India's Exchange Control Department oversees all foreign exchange transactions in India, RBI, Reserve Bank of India. Every importer is required by the current regulations to obtain the approval of foreign currency. The importer must submit an application to a bank that the RBI has authorized to issue foreign currency in order to receive such a transaction, sanction. In accordance with the Exchange Control Act's guidelines, the application must be submitted in the prescribed format, and include an import license. The Exchange Bank endorses and forwards the applications to the Reserve Bank of India's Exchange Control Department. Endorses and forwards the applications. Endorses, or undersign, right? Kind of undersign. Endorses. The Reserve Bank of India sanctions the release of foreign exchange after scrutinizing the application on basis of the Government of India's exchange policy in effect at the time of application. The Government of India's exchange policy in effect. Here, exchange policy is a singular, sometimes it's a plural. I don't know the difference, but here I think the exchange policy is just one policy, maybe. Maybe succinct, representative, scrutinizing, reviewing. I think it's reviewing, but scrutinizing. That's the different mentality of Indian people from Korean people. I am Korean. I work for Korea Telecom, KT, number one carrier in Korea. So I'm very proud of my company until my time comes up to retire. The importer obtains the necessary foreign exchange from the relevant exchange bank. It should be noted that whereas import licenses, which are issued for a specific period of time, the exchange is only released for a specific transaction. Most restrictions have been lifted as the rupee has become convertible on a current account as the economy has liberalized. Liberalized, right? Lifted. Most restrictions have been lifted. released. 4. Place an order or indent. The importer places an import order or indents. The importer places an import order or indents with the exporter for the supply of the specified products after obtaining the import license, indentures, right? Dentures, servants, service, slaves, indents. The import order includes details about the cost, size, grade, and quality of the goods ordered, as well as packing, shipping, ports of departure and arrival, delivery of schedule, insurance, and payment method transactions. In order to avoid any ambiguity and subsequent conflict between the importer and exporter, the import order should be carefully drafted. It contains the importer's instructions regarding the quantity and quality of goods required, the method of forwarding them, nature of packing, mode of payment, and price, and so on. Indentations are typically prepared in duplicate or triplicate. Okay, so first time for me to encounter duplicate. We know that duplicate, like a copy, another exact copy, right? Duplicate or triplicate. Duplicate. 그거죠. Indent types include open indent, closed indent, and confirmatory indent. So there are 3 types: open, close, and confirmatory indent. Open indent, closed indent, and confirmatory indent. Because all of the necessary particulars of goods, price, and so on are not mentioned in the intent, the exporter is free to complete the formalities at his own end. On the other hand, a closed indent is one that clearly states the full particulars of the goods, price, brand, packing, shipping, insurance, and so on. A confirmatory indent is one in which an order is placed subject to the importer's agent's confirmation. Okay, so there are 3 differences, right? Because all of the necessary particulars of goods, price, and so on are not mentioned in the indent, the exporter is free to complete the formalities at his own end. Complete the formalities, particulars, complete the formalities. On the other hand, a closed indent is one that clearly states the full particulars of the goods, price, brand, packing, shipping, insurance, and so on. A confirmatory indent is one in which an order is placed subject to the importer's agent's confirmation. 5. Obtaining a letter of credit. If a letter of credit is the preferred method of payment between the importer and overseas supplier, the importer must obtain one from its bank and send it to the supplier. A letter of credit, as previously mentioned, is a guarantee made by the bank of the importer that it will honor payment of export bills to the bank of the exporter up to a certain amount. A letter of credit, or LC, is an undertaking by its issuer, usually the importer's bank, that bills of exchange drawn by the foreign dealer on the importer will be honored on presenting up to a specified amount. Will be honored on presentation up to a specified amount. On presentation. I will try to read from 5 after I find some time while on the job today. Or I will just finish the rest of the article when I get back home. I have to go to work now. Usually I commute on foot. Yes, I go to my office by walking. So it will be a brisk 50-minute walk. Yes, when I walk, I do the anti-cancer Tai Chi walk, or Qigong walk, or Guolin. That's the female name of master. Guolin walk. You can look it up on the internet. I mean, you can look up my video of Tai Chi walk, or anti-cancer or cancer treatment or cancer prevention walk on YouTube. Please look for it, or just type in KT Park, KTPAHK. That's my name. So see you and talk to you later. So I left off at 5, and I'm going to read from 5 again. I'm at the office taking a break, so I think I can finish it within 5 minutes. 5. Obtaining a letter of credit. If a letter of credit is the preferred method of payment between the importer and the overseas supplier, the importer must obtain one from its bank and send it to the supplier. A letter of credit, as previously mentioned, is a guarantee made by the bank of the importer that it will honor payment of export bills to the bank of the exporter up to a certain amount. A letter of credit (LC) is an undertaking by its issuer, usually the importer's bank, that bills of exchange drawn by the foreign dealer and the importer will be honored on presentation up to a specified amount. Honored on presentation. The importer's bank. Undertaking is an undertaking. Important term. An undertaking. A letter of credit is an undertaking by its issuer, usually the importer's bank, that bills of exchange drawn by the foreign dealer and the importer. That's another good expression. A lot of expressions there. Bills, invoices, kind of, or a request for transfer of money. Bills of exchange drawn, written, right? Written for reason, drawn by the foreign dealer, supplier, on the importer, right? To, for, or over. It's just on the importer will be honored on presentation as soon as the bills are presented on presentation up to a certain specified amount. 6. Arrangement of finance. Prior to the arrival of the goods at the port, the importer should make arrangements to pay the exporter. To avoid grossly overpaying demurrages, fines on imported goods that are lying uncleared at the port due to lack of payments, advanced planning for financing imports is required. To avoid grossly overpaying demurrages on, that's fines. I'll look up that word later. I've encountered that word several times before, but I forgot the meaning and the pronunciation. But it's a fines, demurrage. It doesn't look good word, so it's a negative. Fines on imported goods that are lying uncleared at the port due to lack of payments. Lying uncleared, that's another good term. Lying uncleared. 7. Advice for shipment receipt. The international supplier sends the importer the shipment advice after loading the goods onto the ship. The shipment advice. Information regarding the shipment of goods is included in shipment advice. The shipment advice includes information such as the invoice number, bill of lading, airways bill number, and date, vessel name with date, port of export, description of goods and quantity, and date of vessel sailing. Date of vessel sailing, right? Bill of lading or airways bill number, bill of lading or airways bill number, bill of lading number, or airways bill number, airways bill number, or bill of lading number, invoice number, date, vessel name with the date, port of export, description of goods and quantity, and date of vessel sailing. 8. Retirement of documents. After the goods have been shipped, the overseas supplier gathers the required paperwork in accordance with the contract and letter of credit terms and gives it to the banker for negotiation with the importer in the manner indicated in the letter of credit. A bill of exchange, commercial invoice, bill of lading or airline bill, packing list, certificate of origin, marine insurance policy, etc. are generally included in a set of documents. Retirement of import documents refers to the acceptance of a bill of exchange for the purpose of receiving delivery of the documents. When retirement is finished, the bank will give the importer the imported documents. What does it mean? Retirement of documents. After the goods have been shipped, the overseas supplier gathers the required paperwork in accordance with the contract and letter of credit terms and gives it to their banker for negotiation with the importer in the manner indicated in the letter of credit paperwork. So there's retirement of documents, a bill of exchange, commercial invoice, bill of lading or airline bill, packing list, certificate of origin, marine insurance policy, etc. are generally included in the set of documents. A bill of exchange, commercial invoice, a bill of lading, airline bill, packing list, certificate of origin, marine insurance policy. Retirement of import documents refers to the acceptance of a bill of exchange for the purpose of receiving delivery of the documents. Retirement of imported documents refers to the acceptance of a bill of exchange for the purpose of receiving delivery of the documents. When retirement is finished, the bank will give the importer the import documents. When the retirement is finished, the bank will give the importer the import documents. Retirement of import documents refers to the acceptance of a bill of exchange for the purpose of receiving delivery of the documents. 9. Goods arrival. The international supplier ships the goods in accordance with the agreement. The person in charge of the carrier, whether it be a ship or an airline, notifies the person in charge at the dock or at the airport of the arrival of goods in the importing country. The import general manifest document is presented by him. The specific details of the imported goods are listed in an import general manifest document. It is a document that the unloading of cargo is based. Goods arrive. International supplier ships the goods in accordance with the agreement. The person in charge of the carrier, whether it be a ship or an airline, notifies the person in charge at the dock or at the airport of the arrival of goods in the importing country. The import general manifest document is presented by him. The specific details of the imported goods are listed in an import general manifest document. Import general manifest. It is a document that the unloading of cargo is based. 10. Custom clearance. After they cross Indian borders, all imported goods are required to go through customs clearance. A number of formalities must be completed in the somewhat time-consuming process of customs clearance. It is suggested that importers appoint CNF agents who are familiar with such formalities and play a crucial role in getting the goods cleared through customs. The importer must first obtain a delivery order, also called an endorsement for delivery. Obtain a delivery order, also called the endorsement for delivery. The importer normally gets the endorsement on the back of the bill of lading when the ship docks at the airport. The relevant shipping company provides these endorsement. In some cases, the shipping company issues a delivery order rather than approving the invoice. The importer has the right to accept delivery of the goods under this order. Of course, before taking possession of the goods, the importer must first pay the freight charges if the exporter has not already done so. Freight charges. Whether you are preparing for your first job interview or aiming to upskill in this ever-evolving tech landscape, Gigs for Gigs courses are your key to success. We provide top-quality content at affordable prices, all geared towards accelerating your growth in a time-bound manner. Join the millions we've already empowered, and we are here to do the same for you. Don't miss out. Check it out now. Commit to GFG's 390 Challenge. Purchase a course, complete 90% in 90 days, and save 90% cost. Click here to explore. So this article is very good. Importer endorsement, delivery order, and so on. Very crucial. From this article, I learned such expressions as it will be honored on presentation, bill of lading number, airway bill number, demurrages, fines, delivery order, endorsement, importer, supplier, freight charges, and so on. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.